Dr. Dorothy Height, the highest medal. The actions and accomplishments Dr. Dorothy Height achieved while being the president of the National Council of Negro Women, also known as the NCNW, led her to receive a Congressional Gold Medal. She was presented this award on May 25, 2004 by President George W. Bush in Washington, D.C. at the Capitol Rotunda for her lifelong contribution to American freedoms and civil rights. As the president of the National Council of Negro Women, Dr. Height communicated by advocating for millions of African Americans and women by consulting and persuading many organizations, politicians, and humanity that society was not benefiting from social injustice they were facing. Dr. Height has been an activist, communicator, innovator, and a leader since the 1930s, addressing the inequalities for women and African Americans and helping humanity. Dr. Height spent most of her life being a pioneer to the nation. Women and African Americans, as well as the nation, were affected by her achieving the nation's highest civilian award. Dr. Dorothy Height, President George W. Bush, the Senate, and the House of Representatives were involved. Senator Hillary Clinton introduced a bill to award a Congressional Gold Medal to Dr. Dorothy Height in recognition of her many contributions to the nation on June 13, 2003. It passed the House of Representatives on October 15, 2003, then the Senate on November 21, 2003, and signed by the President and became Public Law Number 108-162 on December 6, 2003. Finally, Dr. Height received a Congressional Gold Medal on May 25, 2004.
Distinguished members of the House of Representatives and of the United States Senate, friends, I have to tell you, I not only feel honored, but I'm overwhelmed with the honor. I feel humbled to be here at this moment, in this place with all of you. And I just have to say a special word of thanks to Congresswoman Diane Watson, who initiated all of this. And to Senator Hillary Clinton and Senator Carl Levin.
During the 1930s through the 1960s, Dr. Dorothy Height was a consultant on human and civil rights issues to First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt, President Eisenhower, and President Johnson. Dorothy Height became the fourth president of the National Council of Negro Women in 1957 and remained in that position for 40 years. She established the Bethune Museum and Archives for Black women. On November 11, 1979, it was celebrated, and this was the first organization devoted to Black women's history. In 1986, she established the Black Family Reunion celebration to reform the historic strength and traditional values of the Black family. Dr. Height was the only female member of the Big Six civil rights leaders. These are a few of the many actions and accomplishments that led her to receive a Congressional Gold Medal in 2004.
Well, I think we could say wholeheartedly that we are not satisfied with the caps because we feel that we're at a place in this country where we have to offset the damage that has been done by the Supreme Court's decision, and that those of us who happen to be both Black and women know what it means to be discriminated against twice. And it is sad to think that we cannot get the kind of compensation and that it really requires. However, as has just been said, After all of our meetings with the president and after all the negotiations that we've gone through, we find that this bipartisan Brooks-Fish bill, the way it is stated, gives something that we are ready to accept in order to see our country keep its forward march against discrimination based upon both race and sex. We believe
women and African Americans have had more opportunities because of Dr. Dorothy Height advocacy and activism. The positive changes that happened were civil rights legislation that were passed, and women were included in presidential appointees. Women were also afforded the chance to work in supervisory positions. Some men may have felt a negative impact that women were working in positions that were formerly held by men. The topic did not impact all groups the same way. It impacted the nation equally. Her advocacy and activism helped to improve the lives of African American and women. Dr. Height, being the president of the National Council of Negro Women, addressing the inequalities for both women and African Americans. Since she made awareness of this issue, African Americans and women now have more of an influence in areas such as politics and business management. If Dr. Dorothy Height did not make her journey in bringing forth the issue of civil and human rights and justice, Vice President Harris, who was the first African American woman, may not have had an opportunity to serve in such a respected position. Dr. Height focused her efforts on improving the lives of women and African Americans. Inadvertently, women of all other races have benefited. Dr. Dorothy Height was awarded a Congressional Gold Medal on May 25, 2004 by President George W. Bush in Washington, D.C. at the U.S. Capitol Rotunda for her lifelong contribution to American freedom and civil rights. As the president of the National Council of Negro Women, Dr. Height communicated by advocating for millions of African Americans and women. She also consulted and persuaded many organizations, politicians, and humanity that society was not benefiting from the social injustice that they were practicing at the time. The actions and accomplishments Dr. Dorothy Height achieved as the president of the National Council of Negro Women, along with numerous other achievements, led her to receive a Congressional Gold Medal.
I think if we all work together, we can find ourselves as brothers and sisters, and we can say together, may we forever stand true to our God and true to our native land.